What's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Aunt.
Where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
This right here is my lovely wife, Iana.
And this right here is my awesome husband, Ayize. What are we going to talk about?
Hey, let's talk about this right here, y'all. There's something that's different between making a decision and having a desire to make a decision. We recently, or my wife, she just recently shared with me a story about Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom and how he went through his situation in which he, I guess he was unconscious and he went to a coma and now he's in a state of recovery right now.
Why you say it like that? Coma?
I'm just trying to get through it. And so, I'm glad that he actually is on the other side because for a moment there, it wasn't really clear that he would actually survive. So definitely blessings to him around that. But my wife shared with me earlier today that he told her, what did he tell her?
So these are reports. These are alleged reports, and I know we got a different thing going on. We might be looking left and right and up because we doing a recording, looking down at this camera. So just bear with us. So the reports are that he, obviously everyone I think knows that he's awake and he is doing well and getting better, getting better, and that he told Khloe that he's not going to do drugs anymore and that he is going to, stop all of that, and that she withdrew her divorce papers, or at least has said that she's not going to move forward with the divorce. And so a part of the questions that have come out of this are, wow, does something like this, when it happens to a relationship, really have the opportunity to bring people together? And can it really just change a person where he's just going to stop, that the drug thing, that behavior, and they're going to just be able to, walk off into the sunset now?
Yeah, and so basically what we want to say is this, is that crises, the Chinese character or symbol for crises, is made up of two characters, and one is danger and the other is opportunity. So in the midst of a crisis, you definitely have an opportunity for change to take place. But
he definitely went up against some danger, did he not?
Yeah, and while there is an opportunity for change to take place, it doesn't necessarily happen just because you desire for the change to take place. We have a tendency when we're in a state of crisis to cling to the thing that's going to immediately get us out the crisis. And so in this situation, it's the relationship, it's family members, it's friends who are close to him. So he feels comfort and he feels good about clinging to those folks. But let me just make something really clear that, when you're in a state of pain, when you're in a state of crisis and you're clinging to people, you're doing so, again, for comfort. But there's certain steps that are required in order for you to make the true sustaining change. And it can't just be based off of your desire. It can't just be based off of your feeling, but it has to be some concrete steps that you take in order for the change to actually set in. Now, let's keep this in mind, too, that he's saying that he wants to be with her. He's no longer going to do drugs. And he's probably on drugs while he's saying that he's no longer going to do drugs.
What you mean?
What I'm saying is that, he's probably getting some type of medication in his system, and
that's not like he
it's not the same
smoking
thing.
Crack in the hospital.
No, it's not the same thing. But you want to be aware that he hasn't necessarily been exposed to the same environments. Probably, and this is all speculation. He hasn't encountered the same triggers that he may have encountered in the past, and he hasn't dealt with the same stuff that led him to the predicament that he's in right now. And so he's probably taking some pain medication. And then on top of that, again, he hasn't addressed the triggers, but he's saying that he wants to change. He wants to be in a relationship, which is good. I applaud him for that. But at the same time, too, some steps need to be put in place in order for it to be, real change.
So, again, we're not trying to take away from this new revelation that has come to Lamar. And we're not trying to take away from the fact that Khloe feels so compelled and so impacted by this trauma that she's saying, hold up, I don't want to move forward with this. I think that crisis, as my husband said, really does have an opportunity to bring folks together in an entirely different way. And you actually have the opportunity to go to a place in your relationship that far exceeds wherever you were going before. I mean, on a whole nother level. So the opportunity is there. I think what we just want to make clear today, and we want you to transfer it to your own relationship and to your own life, is that desire is one thing. Decision and action is another. And so just because you feel intense desire and you're, very overwhelmed with emotion and feeling because of a traumatic event, whether it's something like this or whether, your man went out and, cheated or got somebody else pregnant or whatever. And that's like, it rocks your whole world. And he comes back and he's crying and, he done gone up to the altar at church and fell down and said, I'm going to get baptized. It's all emotional. Feels real good.
And it'd also be seen as selfish too, because he's making it about him again.
What?
Yeah. I mean, in a situation like that, like with the Lamar situation, like let's say, for instance, if you have somebody who is abusive in a relationship, abusive,
I was in the middle of
who
my
cheats.
point.
I know you were, who cheats, and they say that they're going to make changes, but then they're caught. And then they get into an argument with you, and then they decide to go out and drink, and then they get into an accident. So it was about them cheating on you in the first place, and they were still in the attention in the relationship. And then they go out and get into an accident, and so now you're feeling guilty if you make the decision to leave the relationship, and it's still all about them.
Potential, yes, that's potentially true. Yeah. That there is that potential there. So that's very true. That possibility exists. But I think that what you need to understand today is that desire and decision are two different things. And if you have desire and your partner has desire to turn things around, that's great. You can be on one accord. But then you've got to understand, what is the action plan? What are we going to do? What's it going to look like? What were the issues that were blocking us before? And how did those issues block us? What did they look like? How did they manifest? And what needs to happen differently? And it can't just be based off of just good feelings. It's a wonderful thing when crisis brings people together. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a wonderful thing that they actually really want to see if they can hold this thing together. But now the true work begins. So don't get confused. Don't get it twisted. Desire and decision are two different things. At the end of the day, remember, in order to do anything well, you must stop playing
and start pushing.
Start pushing.